What is up, everyone? Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Give me one moment to get this shit going. Boom. How is everyone on this fine day? What is up, everyone? The ARG is finally solved. Is finally solved. All of it. What is up? Dude, I'm pretty excited about it. Hell yeah. Yeah. So what is an ARG? That's a very interesting question. So ARG, I believe, stands for augmented reality game. Is that correct? ARG definition. Alternate reality game. And so essentially in the context of like Destiny and games like this, it's a puzzle that Bungie or other game developers will give you that you have to use multiple platforms to solve. And so there were two parts to this collector's edition ARG. The first part was solving a large puzzle within the collector's edition itself, the physical collector's edition, and we did that. And then the second part was everyone with a collector's edition. You could log into a site using a passcode from part one, and it would give everyone a like this. Let me see. Well, I don't really have a great example of it, but it would give you like strips of paper. So let's say like, this is really hard to show. Okay, I'm gonna show you like this. So it would give you like strips of paper, and every person would get like a strip like this. I have 5 strips like this, and the amazingly talented people over at Raid Secrets found out that if you put them together, they wrote like algorithms and bots and shit. Yo, the Dark Chemist, thank you for subbing. And they found out that they can be rearranged, and they have been fully rearranged into 30 pages of lore. That's a lot of lore. That's a lot of lore. So we're gonna be checking it out. Yo, Garbage, what's up? I hope everyone's having a great day. I have not read any of this. And I unfortunately did not get to partake in a lot of this because they got really close when the raid launched, and I've been like freaking neck deep in the raid for the last couple of days. So part 2 of the ARG was almost no. I mean, it was entirely the amazing people over at Destiny Raid Secrets. There's so many people over there. Yo, Zigzag, thank you for subbing. That they're just like, oh yeah, give me 30 minutes to make this bot that will solve this super complicated sorting thing. It's like, what? Who just knows how to do that? Yep, that's Mithrak's signature. And so today, what better way to celebrate than to break down the work and celebrate the fine work of the ladies and gentlemen over at Destiny Raid Secrets. Do you think the raid adept weapons can be built? I'm not really sure. I'm very, very, very excited. Okay. Well, without further ado, let's jump into the lore. Dear Ikora Ray. Oh, yes. If you want to read this yourself, here you go. Witch Queen ARG. Oh, wait. Adcom. Witch Queen ARG. Boom. There you go. Dear Ikora Ray. With respectful courtesies and the proper bow, I have read the text you sent, and I understand very little. My thanks multiply. Truly, my knowledge of light is distinct from your own. For me, light is in the air and the joints. It is eaten, it is received in radiation and discharged in the neuron. It is not separate from the physical world, it is the world. You speak of light as an intervention in reality from outside parallel to causality. This is not my sense of light, but as you say, I should not diminish my own kinship with light, for it is in all places and things. So, I do not try to be a false guardian. Instead, I preach to my people that we must be the best Elixni that we can be. But always there's the question, why the great machine left us? Why it became your traveler and stayed to guard you? This question haunts all Elixni. It makes us think that we are fallen. I have accepted that the traveler is not mine to judge, but even without judgment, I am curious. Why did the traveler leave us but to remain with you? I do not ask for an answer, only your thoughts. That is a very interesting. I've never thought about it like that, but yeah, I guess if you were a civilization that was blessed by like essentially a god, and then that god just was like fuck you and left, and then like your civilization crumbled. Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Oh, and then they went over to another civilization and didn't leave them. I guess that does make sense, doesn't it? You prefer the Mithrax or the Elixiny's sense of light compared to ours? I mean, ours is, I think, more real, though, because there are physical manifestations of the light in Destiny. Orbs of light are a great example, but there are many things. Like, light is a very physical thing. Yo, Corey, thank you for re-upping, brother. A very physical thing in the Destiny universe, and so, just like dark is, right? And so I think that's really interesting. Nearly there you go. We're getting we are getting a new raid boss made. I'm pretty excited. So that's pretty good. All right, the reply. Dear Mithrax, for my own proper release Google Translate. With my own proper
Aerys.
Sure. Yo, Jacob, thank you. Thank you as well. You don't have to be ugly, callous. I don't know which one I'm gonna get rid of, dude. I like all the ones that we have right now. So close to a year. Also, you're so close to 80K. Congrats. Thank you so much. Hell yeah. Thank you for re-upping. Okay. I don't know what this word means. It doesn't matter. What if the traveler abandoned you out of mercy to give you a chance? I won't pretend to understand what your people experienced during the whirlwind, nor do I ask you to measure your pain against ours. I only mean this. We know no human settlements beyond the system. We are surrounded by darkness, trapped at the center of a cosmic war. The Traveler's presence draws the attention of every great power in our galaxy and beyond. It protected us and gave us light, but in doing so, it doomed us to war against its enemies. There's a very good chance humanity will go extinct here. But there are Eliksny who survived the whirlwind, and there are Eliksny alive and around other stars, alone in a small and dangerous universe, but free of any obligation to the Traveler. I believe that the Traveler despises coercion. I believe it would not force the responsibility of defending it upon one of its chosen species unless it had no other choice. Why then does it choose species to uplift in the first place? Why doom Eliksny or humans to a confrontation with darkness? Perhaps it will not let the darkness coerce it into abandoning its purpose. Perhaps it doesn't value longevity the way we do. Maybe it values a short, bright existence more than a long, ordinary one. I don't know. When the Traveler left, Risa gave your people a choice. Some choose to follow the Traveler, some choose to go make new lives, and you choose to stand with us against the night. Now, this is a really interesting question, and I don't know if we will ever get a proper answer to this, but like, it is now clear especially throughout the raid lore, like the Traveler has been doing this thing for like ever, and it's done it with a ton of different civilizations, not just us in the Fallen. It originally did it with, or not originally, but it's done it with the Hive. There was another species that Rolk like just obliterated that the Traveler was doing it to. I forget their name, Abernine or something like that. The Traveler really just goes around and like fucks around and finds out with a lot of civilizations, and it really hasn't gone well for anyone yet. So why does it keep doing it? Why does it do it in the first place? Why does it continue to do it? One thing I'm really curious of is, I think is the Traveler the light equivalent of the Witness? Or is the Traveler the light equivalent of a pyramid ship? We don't really know. I don't think we've ever been really given an answer. Obviously, we know the Gardener is the equivalent of the Witness, but is the Traveler truly equivalent to the Gardener? Are these separate entities? Questions that keep me up at night, Did its Rolk species as well? Yes, I forgot that, yes. Eramis bows in a greeting. Salute performed amongst Eliksny as a sign of respect or prestige. Oh, well, there you go. And so there's a lot of questions here that are just like, you know, what's going on? Who's the gardener? The gardener is the light equivalent of the witness. So there's the flower game lore books, I think. I don't know if that's the proper name of the lore books, but the lore books describing the flower game talk about the gardener versus the winnower. I guess technically the witness might not even be the winnower, so that actually might not be true. There's so many. We have all these like ethereal god level beings, and it's all like nebulous. You know, it's just like, what the hell's? Oh man, the winnower. Yeah. So like, is the witness like serving the winnower? Is the winnower just something different entirely? Bruh. Did you see Bipe's recent video about the secret message with all the symbols telling the witness coming to Earth and drinking the traveler's light? Bro, I made that video first, dog. No, I have not. I am going to watch Bipe's video because I'm very curious about his take on it. You're wrong. The winnower was the statue chick. I never said it wasn't. Excuse me, you're wrong. Your face, dog. I think the witness and the winnower are like the Trinity. And what's the third one? Dude, there's so much shit, dude. All right. So cool. This is from. I forget who True was. The new version works. I love all the knobs in the antenna. Very analog. I took readings off of a hatch control out there on Europa, and Kalik was able to retrieve badly distorted voices in some sort of distress. I don't know if he's doing exactly what you Warlocks want, but it's doing something all right. Kalik says it's probably tapping into her scrutiny, and if you permit that term, in your ivory halls. What's new about the ARG? We now have 30 new pages of lore. So, good stuff. Now, I'm not much for gadgets, so I won't ask you how you rigged this thing, but I am one for gossip. Weren't we closing in on some sort of workable theory on exactly how our ghosts resurrect us? One of which was, if I am not mistaken, based on the research by the Future War Cult, did any of that work survive Lakshmi? You know, they did try to recruit me once, the cult, over a game of poker. 52 cards in a deck don't seem like many, this hard-ass Titan told me, but there are large number of different possibility shuffles of 52 cards. You could walk back and forth across the observable universe faster than you could count all of those possible shuffles. A lot faster. That's life, she said, and she had daisies impaled on the spikes of her skull. Life is endless permutation. So many possibilities, but the rules are what matter. Who cares how the deck shuffles if you don't know the rules of the game? We play this game over and over, life and death, light and dark, but the only way you learn the rules, the only way you're ever going to get one of those truces you're named for, is to come inside. Come into the cult, come in and see, but I didn't. Oh my goodness, dude, the Lakshmi, dude. Like in terms of separate knows, who is he the witness for? I don't think the witness is a real big bad because not all the pyramid ships listen to him. Is that true? Do we know that not all the pyramid ships listen to the witness? Try to read that number. Okay, so this would be 100,000, 100 million, 100 billion, 100 trillion, 100 quadrillion, 100 pentillion, 100 sextillion, 100 heptillion, 100 octillion, nonillion, decillion, undecillion, dodecillion, it's too much. I'm not gonna do it. Thank you for all the subs, by the way. Oh man. Okay. And you too, Jasper. Yeah, we're getting really close to 80,000 subscribers, so I appreciate your guys' faces. Hell yeah. Another thing she told me is that you can play poker with just 3 cards and 2 players: Jack, Queen, King. Ante 1, max bet 1 more. High card wins unless 1 player folds. And in this game, there are many strategies available for the first player, but very few to the second, who acts to exploit the choice made by the first. Many possibilities against few. Sounds like you'd rather be the first player, huh? But if both players play perfectly, that second player wins in the end. Mathematical inevitability. Ain't that something? But I said your game's just a toy, it's just a contrivance. That's not life. Life is one player always exploiting and beating the other. Oh, isn't one player always exploiting and beating the other. Anyways, back to testing. Might go back to Cockatus and aim this thing at the gate, see how wild it goes. If you never hear from us again, you know Truce and Cowlick finally found something too spooky. There you go. Chip challenge for 80k. I'm never doing a chip challenge again, dude. That shit took me out. Okay. If the light forgets while the darkness remembers, then why does a ghost power of determination let it access latent enemy memories imprinted in the dead? I actually didn't know that. That's paradoxical. That should be a property of the darkness. How can such fundamentally opposed forces do the same thing? Am I as shallow as those guardians arguing over power levels, trying to force a simple binary upon a complex spectrum? The Drifter talks about spectrums of light, powers his ghost can access because of its modifications. Forcing the metaphor, I thought. Light is not light, it doesn't have frequencies or spectra, but if we are all constrained by internalized ontology, by our tacit understanding of how the world works, maybe the circumstances of extreme survival compelled the Drifter to explore a new ontology. Maybe his ghost achieved a new way to think about the light. A sacred void would not be ashamed to think she knew less about the light than a greasy near cannibal with a mutilated ghost. I'm a bad sacred void. Fair enough. Fair enough, dude. Is the ARG just a story? The result of this ARG is 30 more pages of lore. My hair looks good, thank you. Okay. Icor Ray talking to Zavala. I wonder if there's more of this game stuff. If a game of Go, is meant to test two minds against each other, then I must play as my mind sees fit. If I see fit to play 6 times 24 because I'm interested in what will happen next. They're still arguing about this game. This isn't Basho Haiku. Purposely making a suboptimal move in order to make the game more interesting is a misunderstanding of the nature of a game. There's no reward for a beautiful play in the rules of the game. Then why don't you just turn on a Go engine and compute the winning play? I want to test my mind against yours, not some quantum cheat. But I'm a paracausal cheat, Zavala. So am I. Will you take the move back? Now, Zavala, there are no do-overs in war. I made the move I want, and both of us will benefit from it. You may be stubborn enough to hold still for 8 days, but the traditions of Go are older and more obstreperous. Play the game. Is Go a real game? I'm really interested in this. Oh, I'll pink in your ears. Is he gonna beat her up? Is that what that means? Oh my goodness. Zavala is about to... It is a real game. Game called Go. Go! Oh! It is a real game. It's an abstract strategy board game for 2 players in which the aim is to surround more territory than the opponent. The game was invented in China more than 2,500 years ago and is believed to be the oldest board game continuously played to the present day. No way. Dude, I'm gonna have to play this. Consider me interested. Despite its relatively simple rules, Go is extremely complex. Compared to chess, Go has both a larger board and more scope for play and longer games, and on average, many more alternatives to consider per move. The number of legal board positions in Go has been calculated to be approximately, holy fuck, 2.1 times 10 to the 170th power, which is vastly greater than the number of atoms in the observable universe. What? This is crazy. I really want to learn how to play this. This is sick. Okay. So this is okay. Oh, I forget what all these mean. Who the hell is Ran? I had all these memorized when I read it the last time, but I freaking forget. Anyways, let's keep going. This agent requests review of his past predictions regarding the Fallen versus the actual outcome of events. Regarding Eramis the Ship Stealer, this agent would urge the Vanguard and other interested leadership to progressively prioritize her destruction. Outcome, Eramis was not sanctioned in time to prevent her from gaining unprecedented new abilities sourced directly from the agent of the collapse. Though ultimately neutralized, Eramis succeeded in cohering fallen power around Europa and in destroying irreplaceable Golden Age systems and information. Conclusion, failure to act led to disaster. Is Randy. Oh, that's right. So I actually had a really cool idea about this, right? So I put a theory on Twitter that Eramis was going to be the next disciple of the Witness. I think it is pretty clear to me, at least in the lore, that Eramis, Shivu, Wrath, and Callus are all going to become witnesses, or they're disciples. They're all moving that way. But then I got to thinking, like, imagine, like, end of this year, like going into Lightfall, we get a cutscene, and the pyramid on Europa like activates, and it shoots out like an orange thing, and it pans to Eramis. Her stasis cracks, and she comes out of it, and she looks at the pyramid, and she starts walking towards the pyramid. We get this cool cutscene where she's like fighting things and like surviving and walking towards the pyramid, and she gets almost there, and then boom, she gets blown the fuck up, and out of the smoke walks Taniks. And Taniks walks into the pyramid ship and becomes the next disciple of the Witness. What do we think, chat? What do we think of that? Good? No? Oh, man. I saw someone say VOW is a bad raid because it has too many mechanics. VOW is actually mechanically very simple compared to a lot of previous raids, actually. Hell yeah. I like that. I like that idea, personally. Doesn't make sense since Taniks is the Witness. Fair enough, man. Okay, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. Regarding Variks the Loyal, due to Variks' direct responsibility for the release and death of Prince Uldren, the Vanguard allowed the Reef to drive policy regarding Variks. Outcome, he escaped the Reef, joined Eramis on Europa, and helped administer her House of Salvation before again switching sides to assist the Vanguard in exchange for the safety of itinerant Fallen. Conclusion, Variks the Loyal will turncoat whenever it is advantageous and therefore cannot be trusted. Yeah, Variks be flip-flopping pretty hard. Regarding Mithrax, self-styled Kell of Light, this agent urges skepticism regarding reports of Eramis? I don't know who this is. Oh, sorry. This agent urges skepticism regarding reports of Mithrax's cooperation with the Guardians. Excuse me. Those reports have since been confirmed. Outcome, Mithrax was welcomed into the city with a colony of itinerant Fallen, leading to civil unrest. This ugly episode reinforces the volatility of human-Fallen relations. To quote past report 692, Fallen sus. One or two sympathetic outliers cannot be relied upon to erase the wrongs of the past centuries, nor should their good faith efforts to correct the sins of their forebears be taken as sufficient symbolic reparation. Note that reliable intelligence places 0013, I don't know who that is, the Warlord guilty of the sack of London's survival populations within this Fallen colony. The Warlord guilty of... Aren't we hundreds of years past Warlords and Destiny? Do we know who Warlord 13 or VIP 13 is? Does it say down here? It doesn't. Okay, I don't know who that is. This agent strongly urges extradition. No, actually, no, she's dead. Extradition of 0013 for trial. The magnitude of this individual's crimes cannot be lessened by time or personal transformation. Huh. It is the strongly held opinion of this agent that the Vanguard has in fact pulled its punches since 692 Fallen Sus was filed. This allowed the Fallen to rally and begin another cycle of political reunion, violence, and disintegration. While there's grace in helping some fallen, it does neither side any good to force cohabitants to compete for disparity, limited resources, and security. Desperately limited resources and security. End the experiment. Induce the so-called House of Light to recover interstellar capability and seek their own destiny among the stars. This is a better hope for the future of both the fallen and humanity than anything to be found within the city's walls. Dude, this person's kind of sus. This is Randy? Dude, Randy's kind of sussy-wassy, dude. Achillex sacked London? Oh, I don't even know who the hell that is. They certainly don't give a damn for their own long-term viability, and they're too stupid to think that far in advance. Dude, Randy's a racist. Holy. Yo, the Taken Hollow, thank you for subbing. Randy, it's kind of... I wouldn't be caught using that gun anymore, fellas. Holy. So keep in mind that when it comes to assessing the safety of stasis, after all, it is a power that we use to explode each other like rotten balloons. And keep in mind that a virus isn't evil, it just wants to exist. So if there's really distinction between stasis as a power and the voice in those ships, if one can be separated from the other, then maybe stasis isn't intrinsically corrupting, or maybe it is corrupting, but only when it's tied to the voice behind it. Maybe we can rest it free. Who knows? Not me. Bruce out. Wait, I thought this was Randy. Said it was Randy. Randy is absolutely not based. The lingering trauma of centuries. Ransom cannot get out of its shadow. Part of me cannot either. There was once a problem in philosophy called the explanatory gap. Imagine a grayscale person raised in a black and white room. They are taught a comprehensive scientific explanation of color, including the physics of the eye and the biology of the brain. They read lengthy and evocative descriptions of colors. They taste foods and smell scents that are often associated with particular colors. They're allowed to do everything related to color except to see a color. One day they are allowed out of the room and into the world. They see color for the first time. They experience a thing they have never experienced before. The explanatory gap is the difference between what they learn inside the room and what they see outside. The gap between knowing everything about color and actually seeing a color. In this gap lives the idea of qualia, a first-person experiences of the mind. You cannot describe or communicate qualia, you can only have them. Is there an explanatory gap between knowing the history of Elixni violence against humanity and living through it? Is there a gap between experiencing full sensorium captures of that night and actually being there in London when the devils finally broke that wall? There must be qualia of pain and hate. Only we solved the explanatory gap. Golden Age philosophers correctly identified the difference between education of color and the experience of color. Experience occurs in the brain. Qualia, no matter how ineffable, are the result of physical processes. If the Grey Room dweller had never experienced red, it was because the neural correlates of the qualia red had never been activated. Give the Grey Room dweller a dose of hallucinogens or an EMP to the right part of the brain, and they could experience all the colors imaginable without even leaving their black and white room. The problem was never one of incommunicable experience, but one of insufficiently rich communication. We cannot write a book that evokes the experience of red, but we can design a brain stimulus which makes a human see red. The same goes for ancient thought experiments like Nagel's bat, which was solved by epistemology bridge, although there are arguments that the bridge just negotiates a compatible illusion. Yo, thank you so much for the sub. I wonder if Ransom would still push for the complete extirpation of invasive Fald from the system if he lost his memory of all those centuries, if he had to relearn it all from books. What if you were like a newborn guardian again, richly educated on our bleak history with the Elixni, but not scarred by the experience of it? Would he still arrive at the same unshakable conviction that they all have to go? Or would he be missing some irreducible qualia, some pearl grown around the grit of a first-person suffering? Oh, traveler, I see now. Okay, holy shit. That was like, that got deep. That got real deep. So, what do we think of that? Just got here what's going on. There are 30 new pages of lore that were solved, pieced together by Destiny Raid Secrets through the Destiny Witch Queen ARG. And yeah, lots of words to say Randy is biased. Yeah, he definitely has experience bias. Maybe some PTSD and stuff. TLDR. Randy is racist. And yeah, that's pretty much it so far, actually. All right, it all comes together. Oh, this is called Illumination, Light and Dark Manifest. This sounds fun. The Erotic Ghosts, Ransom's Grudge, the Psychometer and Glycon of Voladus and Nazino Island, and the Go Game was Zavala, and the Sacred Void, and the Silence of the Light, and even the Drifter's Ghost. It all means one thing: darkness remembers, light forgets. It's all about memory, and forgiveness. The Prisoner's Dilemma, a relic of the days of the high carceral system. Two criminals are interrogated in separate cells. Who committed the crime? Tell us. Tell us the other one did it, and we'll let you go. Both stay silent. Both will get a year in jail. The common good. If one blames the other, the rat goes free and the other gets 10 years. One winner, one loser. If both rat out, both get 5 years in jail. Common failure. The only choice an individual prisoner has is to stay silent or blame the other. Together, their two choices make 4 outcomes. Naive irrationality, which was the assumption in the first days of behavior theory, always leads to a common failure. Always. Both prisoners blame each other and go to jail for 5 years. No other outcome is possible. This is why. A prisoner who stays silent, cooperates, suffers a year in jail if the other cooperates. 10 years in jail if the other turns. Possible outcomes, 1 year or 10 years. A prisoner who turns on the other goes free if the other cooperates, or gets 5 years in jail if the other also turns. Possible outcomes, 0 years or 5 years. No matter what one prisoner does, the other benefits from turning on their ally. So both players will rationally defect and rationally doom each other to 5 years in prison, even though each may have escaped with just 1 year if they have cooperated. By acting to see the selfish best, they deny themselves the global best. I mean, it makes sense. Like, holy. I didn't realize my collector's edition came in cursive. What am I supposed to do now? Oh, no. Oh, man. Okay. Of course. A child can see the failure of this model. What about Honormon's thieves? What about the punishment criminals inflict on the tattletale? What about decent people don't turn on each other? Later developments in behavior theory call these influences externalities because they are not described by the rules of the game alone. Now we turn to evolution, the rule that made us all. Evolution is not a simple zero-sum fight to the death that has room for cooperation and coexistence, but it ultimately rewards systems that perpetuate their own survival. It is a local optimizer like the players in the Prisoner's Dilemma. It only cares about who is ahead now. It is impossible for evolution to reward those who sacrifice themselves for others. Evolution can only reward those who benefit from the sacrifice. And winners don't carry the self-sacrifice gene. Be true. The only altruism that evolves under these rules is the tit-for-tat exchange. I will help you if you help me. Witness the gopher infected by an alarm gene, shouting warnings about a predator, dooming itself to be eaten so that its relatives who share the alarm gene can scurry to safety. Or the worker ant, which cannot reproduce except by helping its queen survive. Both ultimately act in their species' self-interest. What's cursive? Is that a good shape? Man. It is possible for evolution to reward altruism given to other altruists, but if there is a way to reliably identify other altruists, communities of altruists can flourish. But then comes the specter of the free rider, the cheat that can fake the I'm an altruist signal long enough to get the reward. How much of your life have you spent wondering whether that kind, compassionate person is truly good, or if they just do it to get ahead? Damn. Some thinkers believe that all of morality is a race between the true altruist and the counterfeit. The true altruist, I hate that word, finds new tests for true altruism. The counterfeit invents new cheats. This is called a Red Queen's race for reasons I don't know. In a Red Queen's race, racers must compete just to stay in the same place, not to gain an advantage, but to simply hold on to what they have in the face of competitors. Parasites are a perfect example. Living organisms must constantly evolve new defenses. Parasites and cancers constantly evolve to defeat them. The body is a treasure trove of energy to steal, and the body systems for preventing parasites and cancer are a form of internal morality. The Red Queen's race may even be why sex evolved. Constantly remixing genes is a good way to change up the defenses. Of course, the Red Queen's race is not the only theory which explains the need to constantly adapt, but never mind. Holy shit. This is some deep stuff. I forgot how Bungie likes to go full philosophical mode. Jaybird says, I often think, what if we are still dead and we're just reliving our past life, or it's all a dream and the darkness is showing us what we did in the past or something? Maybe. This is probably Ikora. Holy fuck. Okay. We keep going. In evolution, the only good is self-interested good. But we are not restricted by evolution. We have minds, we have memories and imaginations and culture. We can imagine the consequences of our actions and select those which suit a world we want to live in. We can do this without waiting for generations of genetic change. We can enshrine the common good as a norm. We can say everyone who cooperates is good and everyone who defects is evil, and the evil defectors will be harshly punished. We can say by cooperating is for the common good, we will all be elevated, so let's do that. Only, what do we do with our cooperative good when we meet someone who defects? A neighboring village steals our crops. A friend has us paint his roof, but he's always too busy to come paint ours. A lover shares all our secrets with a gossip. A colleague takes all the credit for his shared project. Do we hold our ethics and keep cooperating, tending to crops, painting his roof, telling our secrets, watching each other get a promotion, or are we, in short, going to be a sucker? Most people would agree that we must retaliate. We must answer defection with defection. So the prisoner's dilemma is not to be restricted to evolution. Even the cognitive must play it. It is a good model of any situation where what is good for the individual is not the same as what is good for the group. Yo, Scaro, the new lore sounds awesome. Can you tell me where I'll be able to read through all of that? Yes. Witch Queen ARG in chat. Oh, Witch Queen ARG. WQ ARG. Holy. Okay, imagine another situation. If two villages tend their own crops, both will produce 900 bushels of grain. If one village attacks the other, it could end up with 1,200 bushels of grain, and the other village will get none. Whatever is stolen in the attack is burned. If both villages go to war against each other, each will produce 500 bushels of grain, since labor is devoted to fighting. Both villages benefit from going to war regardless of whether the other chooses war or peace. Rationally, both must attack. But these villagers are neighbors. They will make this decision once, they will make it every year. This is called an iterated prisoner's dilemma, a game in which you know you must play with the same person over and over again. You know they will remember how you treat them. This is the value of remembering, using knowledge of your opponent's past behavior to influence future choices. The villages agree to cooperate. For 5 years, they are at peace. They maximize their total grain production as a pair, rather than seeking to have more grain than their rival. Then on the 6th year, a misunderstood letter or a change in leadership or the influence of an outside power makes one village attack as defected. How do we reply? That depends on the strategy we are using. Oh, okay. Okay. There are many strategies. Examples: unconditional cooperation. Cooperate no matter what the other village does. This strategy achieves the greatest total grain output, but only if it is playing against another cooperative village. Berserker, always attack no matter what the other village does. It always beats the unconditional cooperator. Optimal strategy in a one-off game. Random, flip a coin to decide whether to attack. Tit for tat, do whatever the other village did last. Punitive, tit for tat, whether the other village attacks, attack the next, or whenever the village attacks, attack for the next 2 years in a row. Learning, tit for tat, each time the other village attacks, increase the number of years you attack in response. The strategy must have memory. It needs to remember backwards more than 1 year. Grim trigger, cooperate until the other village attacks, then always attack. But begin with an attack and cooperate for 2 years. Base your further decisions on how the other village reacts. Pavlov, cooperate if both villages made the same move last year. Attack if you made different moves. Equalizer, choose to cooperate or attack so that both villages have an equal expected grain yield in the long run. Extorter, attack in such a way that your village's grain yield is always higher than your opponent's, even if this means total grain yield by both villages collapse. Then there are advanced strategies, colluders that use coded sequences of cooperation and attacks to recognize each other and form hierarchies. Never mind those for now. Any thoughts? This is very highbrow. The most human strategy is some variant of tit for tat. Tend to cooperate, but do unto others as they do for you. Start nothing, but if you're hit back hard. Hit back harder each time. So you punish the other village for attacking. You counterattack. Unwilling to walk away from a war they've already spent blood on, the other village attacks for the next 2 years in a row. A cycle of war begins. If we take A to mean cooperating and X to mean attacking, both villages are playing tit for tat. The two villages' behavior over the years will look for this. Yo, Grant Wilson, thank you so much for summon. They're now trapped in an infinite war. Let's say that the village's yearly grain production plunges from 1,800 bushels to 1,200 bushels in the first year to 1,000 bushel each year afterward. Yet neither side can break out of a cycle of retaliation. The only way out is a moment of grace, cooperation, spontaneously and for no reason after 20 years of war. Forgiveness without a cause, unilateral mercy, declaring peace. This is the value of forgetting. Forget they hurt you, forget what's rational, do what's right. Now, if the other village takes advantage of your disarmament, you will look like a damn fool. But if the other side stops fighting too, both of you can go back to maximum global good, 1,800 bushels of wholesome grain a year. Imagine that those bushels of grain are people's lives and you understand the urgency of grace. You feel the need to forget the past. Ransom's grievance with the Elixni is a rational one, but it could doom us to another cycle of conflict. The psychometer lets us glimpse an ancient memory, not because the light cannot remember, but because it chooses to relieve us of memory's grief. The Glycon Volatus is infested with the residue of evil's touch because the darkness is there and the darkness remembers the suffering aboard, haunted like the nightmares on the moon. You win a game of Go by maximizing your own personal score, but I played for a joint good, a victory not described by Go's rules. Externality drove me to cooperate when I should have competed. One move's grace for Zavala so both of us could play a better game. And the Drifter's poor ghost, after centuries hoping he would become a true guardian, after centuries of disappointment, it still sacrificed its own form to grant him another chance. We had 4 years in Destiny 1 at the end of Destiny 2's original campaign. It woke up the Black Fleet, which may imply there's an agreed 5-year cycle where they are in an uneasy... Oh, that's interesting. Would you rather random adepts or craftable normal guns? I like both of those things. I think if the farmable adepts have like good enough perks to justify them being random, I kind of like the idea of being able to craft your perfect normal one or farm out the best adept one, personally. That's kind of my best case scenario. This is why the light wipes away memory. It strikes away the pain of the past to break the pattern, to create the possibility of grace. This is why the dark remembers. We need to remember how we were hurt so we can avoid being hurt again. I remember a Golden Age legend, a disease of the amygdala called SM syndrome. It created people without any fear. They could laugh at a man with a knife. They could try to befriend him. They would go back to the place they were attacked and look for him again. Or pick up venomous snakes out of curiosity. They had a heroic resilience to trauma, but they constantly made the same mistakes. They could not learn to avoid danger or to act urgently to protect themselves. Wonderful neighbors, truly people of the light. But without fear or even the memory of fear, they could not survive. This is the message I need, not some sophisticated exegesis of paracausal semiotics. This one thought, grace and memory. The light offers escape from endless cyclic violence. The darkness remembers the hurt that was done to us, that we cannot be exploited by those. So that we cannot be exploited by those who would hurt us again. We need the darkness to avoid being preyed upon by those who use the light as an opportunity to feed. But we need the light too. The light is the hope of grace through grace of hope. The possibility to do more than what reason allows, because by acting unreasonably, we escape reasonable limits. This is how we reconcile light and dark. This is the message we must teach. Yo, David, thank you for subbing. Love your face. Yeah, I saw the Kenobi trailer. Holy lab, that's insane. Hey, even more. Dear Senoret, there is no such thing as a low-power guardian. There may be armor you can't actuate or weapon mechanisms you can't understand. There may be techniques you have yet to master and missions you do not dare attempt. But the possibility of your light is unlimited. I mean this very seriously. A novice Go player has the exact same power to place the stones as a 9-Dan master. The only difference between them lies in their knowledge and ability to choose. This is my firmly held and personal truth. The only difference in power between you and me lies in what we have learned and practiced. Not many guardians are brave enough to ask such questions. Maybe your age has done well by you. Your society may have been too small for leaders to rule you from far off palaces. Maybe you were resurrected without any fear of bringing your concerns before your tribe. I often wonder how many of the attitudes of our past lives we bring into our rebirth. But investigating this would fall into the taboo against pursuing past lives, and no guardian would want to be told they retained ancient prejudices, even if the structures of power that once gave those prejudices their venom are long gone. This brings me to your treatment at the hands of other guardians. Their curiosity about the enemy is natural, and we cannot suppress the enemy's arguments without perversely amplifying them. Even I have begun to believe our enemy may not be the darkness itself, but a power or principality that commands and rules in darkness. But you are right. Guardians do mistake the traveler's silence for weakness. They do see the constant necessity of violence and the rewards they reap through that violence as a reason to disdain peace and virtue as dull. Guardians want action and meaning and loot. All guardians have experienced devotion, sacrifice, and death. This separates us from the rest of humankind, but sometimes we let this separation divide us from the ordinary good of ordinary people. We forget what it means to live a peaceful life surrounded by the friends we choose, because we can endure death and violence. We forget how horrible and final violence can be, and the nature of your death, Seneret, means you cannot forget that. You know that you were killed by other people, not by the great darkness from the stars. I did hear about that, Drago. Interesting. The question of how to live well in a universe of indifference, cruelty, and deprivation is the only question. The light does not offer us an afterlife or an otherworldly paradise. It does not give us a throne world or pocket universes. The light tells us that paradise is something that we have to make here. Yo, Mobius, thank you so much for re-upping. Love these lore readings so much. Dude, they break my brain. I'm trying to like comprehend it and also discuss things and not fuck up reading all at the same time. I'm like, it's so much. Yo, Magenta, how are you doing? The darkness cautions us against mercy to our enemies. Are we fools for trying to be good when our very survival is at stake? Maybe. But the fact that our morals sometimes make it more difficult to survive is proof they are truly good. There's not much commendable about doing a right thing when it is also tactically correct thing. When a good thing is also the hard thing, that is when the righteous are separated from the lost. Seneret, tell me, let me tell you something I've told no one else. I know that in the end, the darkness can win. Do you understand what I mean? By its very nature, the darkness is the judge of what will exist and what will pass away. Yo, Sarem, thank you so much for the sub. In the end, there may be only darkness because all that exists will remain only by its consent. But the light grants us freedom from existence as alone as a measurement of our worth. Oh, evolution has made us afraid of non-existence, certainly, but it is good to fear and avoid non-existence because without existence we cannot experience joy. The idea that death is an escape from suffering is a trap. Death is not an escape from anything. It is a wall, a cessation, meaningless. I do not ask anyone to embrace death. There is no possibility in death. Life is our only chance to live. Darkness helps us avoid death. It helps us go on existing. It is necessary. We must remember what hurt us so we will not be hurt again. I imagine having both side by side might help, since it seems like Ikora is replying to messages originally sent in the collector's edition. I'm picking up on that too. I think it is pretty much like pages that go in with a thing for sure. But darkness alone points to an eternal existence of mere survival, to a universe where the only judge of a good existence is the ability to go on existing. It is the, wait, did I already read that? It is the grace of the light that grants us the dignity to choose a finite life of compassion and common good over an eternity of competitive subsistence. The darkness, or the being that speaks for it, claims that the extermination of all those who choose the light is inevitable, that the universe will be inherited by morally impoverished advantage seekers like the Vex and the Hive. Logically, I cannot see an escape so long as I accept that the darkness is logic. Yo, Benzo, thank you for re-upping. Only 18 months. Nah, dude, that's crazy. Thank you so much for supporting everyone that's been re-upping, everyone that's a mother chicken, everyone that's just here hanging out. Thank you guys so much. Just having fun. It's nice to have a chill stream. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm like very tired. I'm like stretched to my end. I wasn't gonna stream today actually because I need sleep, but then Great Secrets was like, hey Scarab, we solved this thing. Go. There you go. Okay. The most important thing we can do, the most formidable... Oh, no. Sorry, I missed one. But this is exactly why we fight, Centeret, not to preserve our own lives, but to preserve the possibility that we represent. When all choices are measured by their fitness payoff, by what they do to benefit the continued existence of the chooser, the darkness has won completely. Wait, I broke 80K? Would you look at that? Holy. Thank you guys. Hell yeah, let's get some hype. That's awesome. Dude, we're so close. We are so close to 100K. Thank you guys so much for all the support. That's actually nuts. Yo, SkyCloud, thank you for re-upping. Congrats on 80K, thank you so much. You guys are nuts. 80% there. So close, man. Holy. Let's keep it going. Thank you guys so much. Okay. The most important thing we can do, the most formidable blow we can strike against our true enemy is to offer irrational grace, to choose unreasonable hope and unreasoning compassion, even if it goes against calculated advantage. It is only by disregarding the logic of mere survival that we can create the possibility of existence outside that logic. So, if they do not offer you a spot at the campfire, if they call you naive, if they dislike your complaints about the casual violence of the casually violent, if they quote from the unveiling text and tell you how the gardener lost because it always stopped to offer peace and the winnower always struck, then ask who they would rather sit by at the fire, gardener or winnower. Then ask them, yo, XT forever. Thank you so much for subbing. Oh, where's the gym? Oh my. You got your 5th Red Border raid pulse? No way, dude, sick. Darth Dragoon, thank you. Thank you, thank you. In Lightfall, we will get the ultimate choice, light or dark. I don't think so. I think Bungie has made it pretty clear that they're going in the direction of both. Dead Man, thank you. They, I think they've done a really good job of decoupling the idea of the darkness from the idea of like the witness or the winnower, right? Like the traveler is not the light and the darkness is not the witness. The light and dark are these forces that can be tapped into by other people, and it just so happens that the light is usually used by good people and the dark is usually used by bad people or individuals or species or whatever. But you know, there is definitely overlap. We're a good example of that, and a lot of these lore books, especially the first one, really dealt very heavily with that. So yeah. Then ask them if they would like to live in a universe where no one ever sits beside anyone else at a fire. Never forget that even in the miserable logic of the prisoner's dilemma, it is the cooperators who created the best world. 2 cooperators will score higher together than 2 defectors ever could. A world of cooperators would defeat a world of defectors if the defectors could only be kept away from the cooperators' bounty. Yo, Casual, thank you so much for the sub. Specs are aluminum since they aren't magnetic. Oh my. Never forget what we can achieve together, what we accomplish by leavening darkness with light and light with darkness, tempering grace with memory and memory with grace. It is quite literally more than the darkness alone can imagine. The Hive may have extinguished entire galaxies of allied life, but before the Hive came, those ecumenes accomplished titanic works. What do the Hive have to show for all their conquests? Miserable warrens and rotting moons? Even their libraries are just catalogs of death. Even their queens want a way out. Never give up hope. If it is possible to live well, then it is worthwhile to try. If it is possible to exist by the rules of the light, then the darkness is forever defeated. It cannot dominate all things for all time. Above all else, when you are in the deepest pits of despair, I offer you this. I believe there is no reason the Traveler chose to make its stand here on Earth instead of at Aerys or any other world before. I do not believe in any special quality it detected in humanity, nor in any great tactical advantage the Traveler gained by vouchsafing its power to us. It did not release its ghost as a move in a scheme of incomprehensible complexity or because we fit the criteria of some ancient plan. It did not compute the set of contingencies which could permit its own survival, a 1 in trillion pathway through a thicket of certain death. I believe the Traveler simply could not bear to abandon one more infinite possibility, so it chose an act of unreasonable grace. Clarity in action, Ikora Rey. Wow. Dang. Yeah, pretty much that, Vigilant. Oh. Lee. Got really close to finishing the raid with the second boss chest. Use your guide, by the way, but the leader and someone got into a shouting match and started using slurs. Man, I love LFG. Oh, rip, dog. Rip. By the way, did you make tabs for the metal covers of the Destiny soundtrack? No. I mean, sometimes I make like handwritten tabs for myself, but I've never made anything formal. Oof. Thank you, Reaping. Appreciate it. I'm thinking that as well, Reaping. That is my thought process behind that as well. Okay, thank you for writing back. Determination is a good word for it. You have a lot on your mind and I like to hear it. I won't tell you what to do, but I will tell you honestly that you can't stop them from using stasis. It's here to stay. People want change, they want possibility, they'll pick up on what they can use. Which leads me to my next fraught question. You once told me that you consider 2014 to be a real friend, someone you trust implicitly. But 2014 was forced to, this is Aerys, I think, was forced to use stasis during the events on Europa. I know Aerys is just one of the number of powerful guardians from the Cosmology cohort. Oh no, that's us. 2014's us. I hear gossip that 2014's ghost is overwhelmed sometimes by the need to support a guardian who's taken such huge risks. He tends to minimize his own needs rather than push back. He's barely even confided in other ghosts about his own repeated possession by the intruders. Silence about such an invasive trauma while he's working with a guardian who's constantly forced into close contact with the traumatizer, that worries me. How does that feel? Yeah. Having a trusted friend set the precedent for guardians using the darkness to save the day, and I know exactly what we are. We're best frenemies with a history of intense mutual hurt and messy reconciliation, leaving a deep tenderness as well as an almost impenetrable knot of scars. What could be simpler? With love, Chalco. Ikora replies, one stone can change the whole landscape of the board. Of course, I worry which side played that stone, but guardians make their own fate. That was a whole page. That was a very short page. I love our ghosts more than any other character in the game. It is interesting that they talk about like the ghost trauma and mental health and stuff, and he's only ever like, Guardian, thank you for being my guardian. You know, he never really complains. Although, he kind of went off on Savathûn, so maybe that's not true, dude. He got kind of pissed. Reasonably. But pretty funny. All right, Jalal. To Ikora Rey. Oh, faction rallies are returning? All right, I give up. You may have to quit the tower, but I still need your help. You may have quit the tower, but I still need your help. For 3 years, we've had our best analysts working on the document slipped to a guardian via the Queen's Court, the so-called Truth to Power manuscripts, and all we've got to show for it are burnt fingers and bad arguments. I appeal to the hidden for help. Here's what I believe we know with confidence. The author of all these documents is Savathûn. The documents are an extension of Savathûn's strategy in the Dreaming City. They are cyclic, deceptive, and fond of "you did exactly as I planned" mantra. There is no encrypted content. Any solvable encryption scheme would be discovered, by the mass scrutiny of ghosts. Therefore, encrypted information is little different from plain text, so there's no purpose in adding solvable encrypted information. Any insolvable encryption scheme would remain unsolved and thus is equally purposeless. Therefore, the true message of the documents can be attained simply by reading the text. The true message concerns an importance of singularities in Savathûn's personal cosmology and or instructions on how to mantle Savathûn. We've had ships sweeping the edge of the system for orbiting singularities, but we don't know the mass of the distributary, or the Exodus Green's onward vector at the time of the distributary formed. We don't even know if the distributary singularity inherited the Exodus Green's vector, leaving it on an escape trajectory into interstellar space, or if it emerged at rest with respect to the sun, meaning it would fall directly towards the sun and pass through it over and over. Add the gravitational influence of the planets, and it could be anywhere by now. We're looking for a microscopic point in a volume larger than the solar system. We thought about using fleets of sensor mites to search for gravitational influence, but then we realized that the 9 are in competition with us to find the singularity, and they would certainly use their phantom mass to interfere. Unless it's been in front of us all along, right in the sky of the dreaming city, could they have found some way to harness the singularity, to park it where they can guard it? If so, we must obtain this capability. Have you found anything we missed? I anticipate we're going to learn some tough truths about the Traveler. I'm excited. It is really interesting that we're learning so much about the darkness and, you know, the witness and stuff before they even, like, we still really don't know that much about the Traveler at all. Where can we read this? Exclamation WQ ARG in chat. Is that hinting at a possible distributary destination? Maybe. Ikora responds, this isn't Basho haiku. That's really, she's saying what Zavala said to her. Purposely making a suboptimal move in order to make the game more interesting is a misunderstanding of the nature of the game. There's no reward for a beautiful play in the rules of the game. Literally just quote tweeted Zavala there. The Truth to Power documents are doing Karu's plea for her mother's love. She wrote a biography of her mother, an attempt at understanding, in hopes that Savathun would also understand her. Imagine how lonely it would be to live in the High Coven, where everything, all communication, is deception. Imagine your mother had never once told you the truth about anything. Ikora says, this is sarcasm. I'm asking you in good faith for your help. And I'm trying in good faith to lead you to the truth. The Truth to Power manuscripts are pluripotent. There are many ways to read them. That sounds like an excuse for a failure to discover the true meaning. You think someone's at the center of the Traveler? Maybe. Best way to get deep sight weapons. Are we talking about from the raid specifically or all around?
We've woken the Hive.
Yo, Tony. What's up? Yo, Inmate, thank you so much for the sub. What do you think the end game is with Savathun's song, the viral chant? I'm not really... An interesting question. You have it all backwards. Oh, yo, Knowledge, thank you so much for the sub. You're trying to shuffle the puzzle pieces around until you get an image. You need to know the image before you can arrange the pieces. Think about logic. Here we define logic as the governing principle by which the power defines its own extension. For example, the Hive practice sword logic. What is the governing logic of Truth to Power? Being nonsense, being convoluted, being misunderstood? Very well then, study Truth to Power with an eye for how it means to be misunderstood. Oh, Ascended Master, tell me, how are we to obtain actionable intelligence from the way the documents are meant to be misunderstood? Your centuries of defeatism... Yo, Pablo, thank you so much. Your centuries of defeatism, dude, she's getting them, have left you with a bad case of learned helplessness. The documents are full of possible misunderstandings. One misunderstanding is that they are pointless, just complexity for the sake of confusion. The threads about Mbaru and power from confusion point this way. This is the stance that most amateur Guardian analysts seem to have settled on. It's all a lot of nothing, but there's nothing to understand in it. And this is pretty foolish. The text is full of useful intelligence, including an excellent explanation of the anthem and theme, and an apparently accurate description of how Riven preyed on Guardians to create the curse. Another easy misunderstanding is that these pages are concerned with a real humdinger of a scheme, a manipulation of Hive tribute that requires Savathun's entry into the distributary. This could be true, this scheme could very well exist, but if so, why would Savathun advise us of such a scheme? My Shadowkeep quest is bugged, ran all 3 quests, have 3 out of 5, says... Oh, I have no idea how to fix that, Taylor, I'm sorry. Can you explain the ARG? So I made a video explaining the first part of it. So essentially in the collector's edition, there was, in the collector's edition, we solved a giant puzzle to get a keyword, and then you entered this keyword on a specific website, and it gave you a puzzle piece, which were shreds of paper. And then after like 5,000 of these things were collected, they were, yo, Dylan, thank you so much for the sub. They were shuffled together into 30 pages of lore. Yo. Okay. Another misunderstanding that these are love letters. Think before you laugh. These letters carefully establish a sense of shared physicality. The Aerys voice asks you to center yourself in both your breath and your body. It asks you to imagine her as a judoka, a swimmer, a football player. This is subtle work, ARG. It is the work of an alien that has taken many forms and learned how to win trust in all of them. The letters plead with us for compassion. Not Aerys describes herself as a shy, pitiful, forlorn, afraid to share her true feelings for us. Not Medusa pleads for help as she disintegrates. At the center, we find the clearest profession of love. Thank you, sweet friend. You are a gift and a delight. You are more dear than my mother, and you have given birth to me 1,000 times. Superficially, this is a reference to the concept of Mbaru Savathun's plan to predicate her existence upon the misunderstanding of others. We give birth to her by feeding her power. But she also says, here at the center, I lie to you the truth. You have everything you need to know, but I will give you a clue as the duelists give a warning before she draws. The answer you seek to the dreaming city is simple, not complex. So let's not misunderstand this statement about giving birth to her. Let's take this at face value. We have given birth to Savathun. She genuinely loves us for it. Are you implying that we created Savathun by imagining her? That her presence in the Book of Sorrows, thank you so much for the sub, Odyssey, and all the things she has done throughout more than 1 billion years of times were caused by us reading the Truth to Power manuscript. If this is what the light does to a mind, I'm glad I was never chosen. Judoka, a person who practices judo. Oh, there you go. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah. Your shakers arrived? Fuck yeah, dude. A lot of you guys have been tagging me with their shakers all day. Once again, thank you so much for supporting the channel and getting one. I hope you enjoy it. They're awesome. So thank you so much. Okay. No, I don't think that's the right answer. Her spawning on fundament was only one of her births. She says it herself. You have given birth to me 1,000 times. Look at Truth to Power simply. What are the topics it centers upon? Black holes, Vex simulations, Ahamkara, manipulations of Hive tribute, so our answers must involve all 4 of those. Ahamkara willingly seek a destruction in order to be taken as trinkets by Guardians. You must know this. You've tried to exploit those trinkets as thoroughly as the other factions. But do you understand the metaphysics behind their desire? I do. I once wished to know more about Ahamkara, wish granted. The Ahamkara believe that by transforming themselves, by metamorphosizing from monster to treasure, they become more real, more important ontologically. It is the gap between reality as is and reality as desired that they feed on, ARG, and Guardians are the richest, finest source of reality as desired that they have ever met. What have Ahamkara artifacts ever done but instill delusions of grandeur? A solipsistic madness. I am more real than what surrounds me. Why is this? The skulls of dire Ahamkara speak to me. They know I want to know the truth, so they whisper to me of a path they climb. They call it an anathemic arc. They are going somewhere they consider more real. Guardians are part of how they get there. What if Savathun wants to go there too? Holy shit. More Ahamkara lore is a good thing. I want more Ahamkaras, lots of them. Can Hive ghosts resurrect fallen guardians? Would it change them physically or mentally? I get the understanding, or my understanding is that Hive guardians or Hive ghosts are not actually different than ghosts. They just have different shells, is my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong. Do you think we're going to revive Savathun? Yes. Savathun will be revived at some point. You do not... Bungie, like, clearly left her a means to come back. They don't do that if they don't intend to capitalize on it. For sure, she's coming back. Same as Eramis is coming back, you know, etc. Do a lore audiobook? If you say there's somewhere more real than here, you are implying that we are not real. This is a simulation argument, that we are ghosts in some other world's machine, and then there are no real stakes in our war for survival, because even if we are extinguished, we were never more than phantoms. I refuse to accept this. Oh, don't be so timid. In a arc of dead orbit driven to despair by the thought of other universes when you should know the lore of Hubble volumes and Tegmark hierarchies by heart. Our existence is only real to us, virtually, vitally real, because it is ours. It's the only one we have. Even if we are simulations or imaginations, we have an inner life as rich as any real living thing, and so we are equally real. And when we die, we are dead. We believe that there are many timelines. Does that lead us to discount the reality of our own? Do we stop caring about ourselves, Ikora, Ray, and Aurora Joel, because in another timeline we are already dead? Do I punish you because in another timeline you murdered me? What matters to us is us. but it is possible for realities to be fuck me. You gotta stop. Ikora, stop. Concatenated. The awoken distributary is an infinite universe, but it exists within our universe. The Truth to Power documents constantly return to the question of black hole singularities, to their value as computers and as secret keepers. We are told our true purpose as guardians is to hurl all we value into a black hole. We are told that Savathun wants to enter the distributary and slaughter those within to gain power. You're implying we're not real. Because you're not. You're a video game character? Yeah, for real, dude. Do we know anything regarding the Crown Star? Last time I checked, it's in the tower, but what's the purpose there? I thought, I don't know. I don't know what happened to it. That's a good question. That's a really good question. The Pathria good black hole cosmogenesis principle of golden age physics confirms that the interior of a black hole is a new universe. All black holes produce their own interior cosmos. All cosmos, including our own, are probably the interior of a black hole in a parent universe. True to Power documents want it to understand that Savathun wishes to enter the distributary in order to gain power from our parent universe. The suggestion here is that it is possible for all actions in a concatenated universe to grant power in the parent universe. What does this have to do with love letters to the human form? With confusion for the sake of confusion, you make no sense. Savathun pretends to have a soft human body. She apologizes and empathizes. She asks for pity. She regrets emotional vulnerability. She's even funny. She makes a game for us to play. These are attempts to enter the mind of a human reader. Wherever she wants to go, it is a place with human minds. She needs to enter those minds to reach her destination. Are you actually suggesting we are concatenating within the mind of a reader? If the 9 exists beyond time, are we one of the 9? No. Yes. There's a symbol from remember a memory in the raid. I suspect the traveler's erasure of memory will be important. Both Crow and Savathun getting their memories back is important. Yeah, that's actually discussed here. How the light is about forgetting so you can move on, and the darkness is not, so you can't be attacked again. Very interesting dichotomy. Wouldn't that be something? No, the answer here is simple. Not complex, certainly not a twist from early postmodern writing. We surmise that what Savathun wants in the Dreaming City must have to do with the Ahamkara, Vex simulations, Black Hole, and her daughter, Dukaru, and the manipulation of Hive tribute. How can we relate these? At first, we believe Savathun wanted to use Ahamkara wishes to protect her daughter, Dukaru, while Dukaru tried to find a way for Savathun to enter the distributary Black Hole in order to manipulate Hive tribute. But what if this is a misunderstanding? Why would the Dreaming City tell Savathun how to enter the distributary? The Awoken have never tried to return to their birthplace. They believe their exodus was irreversible. But what have the Awoken done instead? Pass from the distributary into our world. That knowledge is in the Dreaming City. It's in the records of the Awoken halls that carried Mars people on their exodus. What Savathun wants in the Dreaming City is exactly that. Not the way into a child universe, but a way out into a parent where there are human minds waiting to receive her, formless as Imbaru as the mist. How is anyone supposed to arrive by this studying the Truth of Power text? Very easily. This is why I believe I'm right. This is the analogy our Guardian analysis failed to grasp. Look at the structure of the text. Dang, my mind is breaking here. So many mentions of Duankaru. Is the lore going to refer to Bagel 4K? Oh, 15th wish confirmed? I'm telling you right now. Wait, what? Savathun has a daughter? Savathun's daughter is the final boss of Shattered Throne. At first, Aerys is real. Then we learn Aerys' voice is a deception by Medusa. And then we learn Medusa is nested inside Kyria. Then we learn Kyria is a fiction of Duankaru. And at the center, Savathun reveals herself to be the parent of it all. We are headed inwards as if moving from parent to child universe. Then we proceed in reverse. Savathun is revealed to be a fiction of Duankaru, Duankaru a simulation of Kyria, and so on. So in the end, Truth to Power moves outwards, just as Savathun's plans to move in from our universe and out to the distributary, or out from our universe to its parent. Oh, I see. A literary structure like that is called a chiasmus, and a chiasmus means a crossing point, like a wormhole or portal. It's hidden in plain sight. But then we must act urgently to stop this. Savathun could not be allowed to depart our universe into some reality superordinate to ours. But now you'll tell me, so what if she does? What can she do to get us out there? To us out there. There you go. Yo, Dark Dragon, happy birthday. Hell yeah. What if it's just Epcot inside the Traveler? Maybe, man. Savathun trying the escape game? Yes. Anthony, thank you so much for the sub. Love your face. It's all beside the point anyway. She may have already accomplished what she wanted. The damn fool Guardian carried out her instructions on a dare. It is! It's Bagel! Bagel 4K gets a shout out, dude. No way! Your Scarrow Shaker just evolved? Or the fuck did I just say? Arrived? Hell yeah, dude. Thank you for getting one. Enjoy it. That's awesome. I don't know why she wanted a powerful guardian to destroy her daughter in the ruins of Mara's throne, but she wanted it to happen, and I'm guessing the effects weren't felt here. I think she got a glimpse into a world above our own, maybe even a kind of influence. Of course, Savathun. I think Savathun is trying to get into our world. I think this a glimpse into a world above our own, maybe even a kind of influence. The kind of influence is fucking Bagel 4K. Of course, Savathun is still with us. She walked among us as Osiris. She tricked us into removing her worm, and she hasn't vanished into some higher reality. I do not think she built a wormhole into another universe and walked through it, although her intrigues with the Nine have focused on creating singularities from dark matter. She keeps a lot of irons in the fire, our Witch Queen. I think rather that she sent instructions on how to mantle. I think the whole Truth to Power Cat, I'm trying to read. Cat, can you... I think the whole Truth to Power manuscript is an OVA, a manual on how to behave like her, on how to describe her through action and thought so completely that you become her and thus give birth to her. It's done in the Brooks of Sorrow to recall her from true death, and it might be done again. So a part of her is out of the jar, slithering into that other world. Cat, move. Let's hope no one there has given birth to her yet. Maybe you're the one who has it all backwards. The light is non-computable. It can't be simulated in conventional physics. That proves that any universe with the light cannot be a simulation. Our universe can contain simulations, but it cannot be one. Maybe this other world Savathun has touched is subordinate to ours after all. Maybe they are the ones who exist in our minds, a dream of a purely material world, adrift in the true cosmos of light and dark. Poor frail dreams that things should do to them. Dude, they're calling us out! That's insane! You can, if you want to read this yourself, you can find it here. Bro, that's the end of the lore. TLDR, Savathun can break the fourth wall. She's trying to break her way into our world, and we're totally fucked. Wow. Wow. Really, really good lore all around. What is Bagel 4K? So Bagel 4K, so in the Truth to Power lore books, there was a dare, and it said that a guardian needed to defeat Duinkaru, the boss of Shattered Throne, at 999 power. And it took like a couple of years, I think, but a guardian called Bagel 4K, I think it was during the Shadowkeep season, they found a very effective power farm, XP farm, bounty goblining. And this guy sat in, it was for like 4 weeks straight, solo grinded bounties to be the highest level possible. He hit 999, and then you had to do it solo. And then he soloed the Shattered Throne. And when that happened, Bungie released lore as Savathun, where by him falling for her trick, yeah, we empowered her a little bit. So, holy shit. All right. Well, I just need to check. I really hope the Executioner thing's here today. I just need miasma. It's the only thing I need. Like, I don't think it's fucking here. Shit. Where's the Executioner chest today, chat? Amazing how Bungie tricked us for the first time in Forsaken. Dude, they're freaking nuts. I really need the miasma one. It is in miasma? Oh, it's in my, sorry, it's in miasma. I need it in quagmire, fuck. Sorry, I got my words mixed up. Okay, well, really, that's all I had. That is all I had in mind today. It's really cool. Bungie's breaking the fourth wall with the lore. They're doing a fantastic job. But that's all I had planned for today. I really need to go catch up on sleep, so I'm gonna go do that. Thank you guys for all of the support recently. We are shooting up in subs. It's absolutely insane. Just broke 80,000. Tell your friends. Let's keep cracking on to 100,000. So, thank you guys. Yeah. Everyone have a fantastic night. Go watch if you need. Okay, wait. Before I go, I released this video this morning, which is a full link or a full guide on all 9 secret symbols in the raid to get yourself a guaranteed raid weapon once per week. So go save that guide. It's the shortest guide on this on YouTube. I think there's only a couple, but mine's the shortest. It's got timestamps. It's, you know, whatever. So go watch it. Go save it. Love your faces. Movies, thank you for the final super chat of the stream. Thanks for an awesome lore reading. I love doing this shit. Once again, thank you for Raid Secrets for doing this shit. You guys are insane. So, hell yeah. All right, everyone. Have a fantastic night. I love your face, and I'll see you very soon. Peace out, everyone. See you guys.